Welcome to Toronto,
Thank you.
and congratulations, you were terrific in this movie.
Thank you very much.
This is a pretty tall order. It's a pretty important part and a very challenging part, I would think, for an actor. Any trepidation about taking this on?
No, I mean, the more kind of I thought, the more intense I thought it was going to be, the more excited and the more I wanted to kind of do it, I think, was more kind of what happened for me. You know, and I grew up, hearing about stuff about the IRA on the TV, just knowing about them as I was told through the news channels that they were this huge terrorist organisation operating in Belfast and, that they blew up innocent people and, so I knew that it could never be as black and white as that, as nothing ever is. And, I was excited to go to Belfast and sort of integrate with all the people and make this film and sort of find out, what really goes on over there.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you spent some time. How much time did you spend in Belfast before shooting the movie?
Beforehand, I was there just over 2 weeks, just kind of hanging out and just going to the pubs and, drinking a lot and speaking to the locals. And we did all kinds of stuff. Me and Kevin Zegers took up boxing lessons in a local boxing gym and, just tried to sort of, find out from the sort of local people and just to be around them and just to sort of feel part of that community.
And what did you learn from the local people that surprised you or that helped you with your role?
Just more than anything, I mean, yeah, when I started meeting people from the IRA or ex-people from the IRA, I was, I was amazed at just what great characters a lot of them were, really infectious people, great bubbly Irish personalities, very funny, very intelligent, just great people to kind of hang out with and have a beer with. And then you start realizing how kind of complicated it all is, and that these people aren't just cold-blooded killers. There's a cause. There's a belief, and they don't want. A lot of them don't want to be. I can't speak for all of them, but certainly the people that I met, there was a reason and a strong belief for what drove them to become, involved in some of the terrible things that sort of went on back then. So then you start realizing that it's a much more tender thing than you could ever possibly imagine, and that it's, which really helped, for the character because he's trying to do the right thing, and it's so hard to work out what is right and what is wrong, because there's all these belief systems, each one of them different, all coming into the same problem, and there is no answer for that, So Martin McGartland just really tried to kind of do the basic human good thing, which is to, just to save as many people from dying as possible.
Mm-hmm. You were working with Ben Kingsley on this.
Yeah.
Was that intimidating?
Always at first, and then never, you're just excited, He's an amazing person first, and just a phenomenal actor, as well. So like just to be around him, he was so supportive of me and would just really help me through it. And you do a scene and he's the first to come up and like, yeah, keep going, and like he gets you through it. And it was good because the relationship that we had to have in the film was we just completely relied on each other, So it kind of worked like that.
Is that an exciting way to work? I mean, you were just your relationship grew throughout the movie and very subtly. And I mean, Ben was just telling us that for him the hard part was trying to suppress the emotion.
Yeah.
Your character didn't have to deal with that, but is it exciting to work in this way with another actor one-on-one that way in so much of the movie?
And you with Sir Ben, like you just know there's so much going on behind a very still exterior, and I don't know how he does it, but just lets you know that there's a million problems going on there, and that's for an actor to be able to do that by apparently doing almost nothing, but clearly doing so much. You're just saying, how do you do that?
Well, you do that too. You've had some scenes where you weren't doing very much.
Yeah, well, maybe I was watching Sir Ben, but yeah, you just that's an amazing thing to be able to do. And for him, he had to have all these emotions, but never show them to kind of me, because as close as we were kind of getting as the characters, he was pretty much pushing me towards my certain death,
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was like a father figure to Martin McGartland, but was, like just sending off the lamb to the slaughter,
Mm-hmm. There were some scenes that were pretty violent and pretty graphic in this and hard to watch, scenes that you were a part of. Just wonder, when you're in that place shooting a scene like that, how does that affect you as an actor? I mean, is it disturbing to shoot a scene like that?
Yeah, I mean, it is, yeah. You have to, you're in the moment, and it's really happening before your eyes, and everything's so effective. The blood just looks so real, and you've got this great actor just screaming as though he's being, he's in so much pain, and you buy into the imagination of it because that's your job, and you see you're there and you try and believe that it's as real as possible. And when something like that, they're actually the easiest days acting-wise, because you're merely there, you're just reacting to what's going on, you have to do very little but sit and watch and, take it all in. So, as far as an acting term, it's not difficult. It's
get in the moment pretty quickly.
It's right there, you just watch and react.
Now, you were working on your Irish accent when you were in Belfast.
Yeah.
And I heard that from the moment that you got there, you were speaking in the Irish accent 24/7. Is that true?
Yeah.
And for the entire shoot?
For the entire shoot, yeah. I just made a pact with myself. It's something that I'd never done, and something that I wanted to try, and something I wanted to kind of just be in that as much as possible. And it's just finding the right project to kind of decide you're going to go for that with, because it can be pretty exhausting. And then, I thought, okay, I'll go for it with this one. And from the day that I arrived, I just stuck with it, So speaking to my mum on the phone was complicated.
What'd your mom say?
She's like, stop speaking like that. I can't believe a word you're saying.
Can you just switch into that anytime?
No, that's the amazing thing. Like, I don't feel confident doing it at all now. And it was so weird. I mean, when we were doing it, it became my speaking voice, And I promised everyone at the end of the shoot that I would tell them how I really spoke. And when it came to the rap party, I go, go on, let's hear your accent. I was like, couldn't do it. It wasn't until I got back to London, I was just in the pub, kind of relaxing with my mates, that it came back.
Tell me about working with Kevin on this. You two are best friends in the movie. You guys hung out in Belfast together, getting to know the community, and then working together as best friends. Tell me about the working relationship you have with him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot of the stuff that I did whilst we were making it, I couldn't have done unless Kevin was there doing it with me, and he was just, my right-hand man all the way through it. I mean, we went to house parties with all these local people that I would never have gone to on my own, and went to clubs and pubs and just, as I said, we took boxing lessons and, just did all this stuff that, it's great when you have someone who's in exactly the same. We're both trying to fool everybody, So it's kind of scarier on your own, and if you have a companion to kind of see you through it.
Did you fool everybody? Did people from there think you were from there?
Yeah, and it got to the point where people would never even question it. We had a sort of little backstory down, and people just didn't even question it. We were just kind of two guys in the pub like everybody else.
Now, when you were shooting the movie in Ireland, not far from where the real events took place, I understand.
Yeah.
When you were shooting and being around the locals in the neighborhood, how did they react to you guys being there shooting this particular story? Because I'm sure they all must know this story.
Yeah, people were worried about my safety, I think, in certain places. My experience was that everybody was very, they understood it was a film, it wasn't real. I'm not really Martin McGartland, There was one incident where a kid threw like a rock at my head, well, a stone, I say a rock. Just chucked this thing and it just smacked me in the head, and he was shouting all this kind of obscenities, because it's still there,
Were you scared at any point?
No, because we had the IRA boys protecting our film, so I felt pretty well protected. So yeah, no, but it was I couldn't, I'd never seen such community spirit in my life. I don't think. We're filming in very rough areas of some streets in Belfast. People would come out with plates of sandwiches, and we'd have to do like quick changes where one of the security guys would just knock on someone's door and say, "Oh, Janine, can Jim just come in and change in your front room? He's got to do a quick costume change." So I'd be there just like putting on clothes quickly, and she'd be, "Jim, do you want a cup of tea?" And I just never, in London you don't get that kind of openness.
that's really nice.
You know, and on the streets too. You know, it's the doors are open. You know, the kids are running from one house to the other. They're all playing out on the street. Everybody knows everybody. It's their community's strong. You know, and it was nice to sort of be a part of that. And they were all very excited that we were there making the film.
That's great. Thanks so much for this. We have to wrap. But,
okay.
I wish you much success with this movie, and once again, you were terrific in this.
Thank you.
Very
I really
powerful
appreciate
film.
it.